As we have mentioned in other videos, MicroQuarz presents itself as a product that is sustainable in many ways, and this characteristic is carefully integrated into its essence. We have designed MicroQuarz so that sustainability is not only reflected in the product itself, but also in the application. In a previous video, we explained our sustainability values, see here, and gave a more detailed explanation of the sustainability of MicroQuarz. In short, we designed MicroQuarz with the premise that the mineral is the protagonist, leaving the chemical reaction of the components that make up the bonding process of these minerals in the background. This approach allows the product to have a much lower environmental impact than other continuous or traditional coatings available on the market. In other words, MicroQuarz dries by evaporation of the water it contains and the natural cross-linking of the quartz, minimizing the need for invasive application procedures. When the water evaporates, the quartz shrinks and the quartz grains become compactly bound together. The composition of the quartz and the placement of its grains therefore determine the hardness of the coating. In contrast to other products, the cement catalysis process emits environmentally harmful fumes, as does the cement manufacturing process itself. In our case, we use resins to bind the quartz, similar to what is done in a microcement. However, we aim to make these resins as non-invasive as possible, with a low content of volatile organic compounds. These compounds represent the vapors released into the environment during the drying process and are also reduced to minimize the installer's exposure to these vapors during the application of the product. In addition, if we look at other more traditional processes or coatings, such as ceramics, we can see a significant difference in weight and therefore transport. For example, transporting 500 square meters of MicroQuarz is not the same as transporting the same area of ceramic. We might need 2 or 3 pallets for the 500 square meters of MicroQuarz, which only takes up part of a transport lorry. In contrast, a full truck might be needed to transport the same area of ceramic. When analyzing the transformation process, it is also worth noting that ceramics are produced in a kiln. This kiln, which is generally long, has a product curing time that can cause gas emissions to the surface when it is in operation. In addition, to achieve the strength of a ceramic or porcelain tile, the firing process generally involves the use of chemicals that are harmful to the environment. This is in stark contrast to a continuous coating, which is applied on site using a proprietary process that transforms the product from a liquid to a solid state as it is applied. Unfortunately, construction is one of the most polluting activities in the world. This data is easily accessible through a simple Google search, for example. This means that those of us who participate in this market must be aware of how our activity affects this issue that affects everyone. At Ecoresinas, and in many other places where there is a greater awareness of these issues, we want to have products that are more efficient in terms of environmental protection. However, the reality is that while the problem is obvious, the solution is still in development. As end users, we have to be patient as these issues develop because we are also consumers of these products involved in construction. We are constantly receiving new additives and less invasive products, and it is our responsibility to work with as few invasive products as possible. We also strive to develop products that meet the current quality standards demanded by those who want them in their homes. For example, we may choose to use mineral mortar coatings such as clay or lime mortars, which are less invasive than microcement. However, while these coatings are aesthetically beneficial, they are more susceptible to liquid absorption and damage such as scratches and abrasions. We all need to be aware of the current reality and the direction in which we need to move. As consumers, we often demand that a product be efficient from a sustainability point of view, but at the same time we demand quality standards for the comfort we are used to in our daily lives. For example, traveling by car is invasive and polluting, but we prefer the comfort it offers. So we need to be aware that if we want certain qualities, such as durability, waterproofing, and abrasion resistance, we need a certain type of product. To find the perfect balance, we look for products that are efficient, sustainable, and environmentally friendly, which is crucial in today's world.